My friends, you're going to be given a question on the GED that literally asks you, what is the ratio of something to something? I'm giving you one of the questions on the GED, folks. Like, this is borderline cheating, but it's totally fine because we're trying to pass, am I right? So, ratios, that's what today's lesson is, because you're going to be given a question on the GED that asks, what is the ratio of something to something? We just need to master how to solve those type of questions. A ratio, all it does is compare two numbers. For example, let's say you have a classroom, and in the classroom you have 10 boys and 8 girls, right? The ratio, what is the ratio of boys to girls? You just have to go to the classroom, count how many boys there are, go through the classroom, count how many girls there are. Oh, there are 10 boys and there are 8 girls. What is the ratio of boys to girls? Well, boys were 10, girls were 8. That ratio is 10 to 8. It compares two numbers. All right? And that's all we need to do to solve these type of questions. It's super easy. There's a couple tricks, obviously, that I need to show you, but only through practice can you get these type of problems. So, let's look at this right here. The first example. Let's just do the first example. Why not? This is on your worksheet. So, a softball pitcher strikes out 4 batters for every 1 batter that she walks. What is the ratio of strikeouts to walks? You know this is a ratio question because it says what is the ratio. The question itself is asking you what is the ratio. Most of you, I get it, y'all. The math GED is tough with word problems, and there are certain word problems that you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. Am I supposed to be adding? Is this a fraction problem? Is this a geometry problem? Right? I get that, but I know for sure there are some questions that are super simple, and yet, for example, I just told you this is a ratio problem. For now on, you should know how a ratio question looks like, because you're looking for the word ratio in the question, right? Even with me telling you that, I know y'all are going to be given this type of question on the GED, and you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, is this an algebra problem? Just try to listen to me, y'all. Try to study. Try to gain practice, because you guys got to give it a little bit of effort, because this is as simple as it gets. What is the ratio of strikeouts to walks? This is a ratio question. Obviously, ratio questions include the word ratio in the question itself. So I don't ever want to hear you saying, what am I supposed to do here, right? Or not what I'm supposed to do, but what question, what type of question is this, right? You guys should know this is a ratio question. Anyways, back to the lesson. They want to know what is the ratio of strikeouts to walks. Every ratio question is going to give you something like that. What is the ratio of something to something? Now, that something to something is important. In this case, strikeouts to walks. What I want y'all to do is always find that two problems, that two somethings, right? And write it out. Strikeouts. I like putting it in a fraction form. In fact, the worksheet that you guys got to do, you have to write your ratios in fraction form. So that's why in this example, I'm going to put it in fraction form. Strikeouts to walks. Boom. Right? Will you be wrong if you put it like in this example, the colon, or with the letter, with the word to in the middle? You're not wrong. In fact, you're going to see the colon method in the GED a lot, but you might also see the fractions. So I'm just going to bounce around the two, but for the worksheet sake, write it out as a fraction, all right? And what our plan is to go back to the word problem. If we know this was the question section of the word problem, what is the ratio of strikeouts to walks? I'm going to go back to the information section, the word problem, and I'm going to go look for the number representing my strikeouts and the number representing my walks. Let's go do that. Let's go back and read. A softball pitcher strikes out. There it is. Strikes out 4 batters. There's my number. 4. So my strikeouts is 4. Strikes out 4 batters for every 1 batter that she walks. Every time she strikes out 4 batters, there's 1 that walks. So there's my walks, my 1. They said it right there. 1 batter that she walks. You just put it in the designated spots. If we knew the strikeouts were the top and walks needed to go down below, that's why the 4 went there and the 1 went down below. There's my ratio, 4-1. And like I said before, on the GD, you might see this, 4-1. It's totally fine as an answer. In fact, on the worksheet, if you want to do that, that's fine too. Because this is another way of writing the answer, and so is this, 4-1. All 3 methods are okay. I think in the case of the worksheet, you have to do it as a fraction. But it's fine however way you do write it. So what's the trick here, Neil? That seemed pretty straightforward. Well, the trick is, students sometimes do this. They write out strikeouts, they write out walks, they go back to the answer, the question, and they know the strikeout number should be 4 and the walk number should be 1. And for some reason, they do this. 1-4. Or 1-4. Or 1-4. And that's wrong, my friends. This is a completely different ratio that you're giving me. You know what ratio you're giving me here in this example? You're giving me the ratio of walks to strikeouts. Yes, my friends, this matters. You, on the GED, for example, on the GED, you're given this exact question like we just went over, the whole strikeouts to walks. And on multiple choice, option A, B, C, D, you're given this right here. You're given the 1-4, the 2-5, the 4-1, and the 5-2. Because of speed or whatever, brain fart moment, you choose option A because you went back to the thing, you knew you saw 4, you saw 1, and option A is it. But no, they're completely different questions. If they were to ask you what is the ratio of walks to strikeouts, then yes, this would be the correct answer. But the question was asking what is the ratio of strikeouts to walks. Strikeouts need to come first and walks need to come second, which is why this is not the option. This one is. That's your first trick of the day, the order of things. So let's move on to the next question, which is going to practice some more examples, but with a little twist that you need to always keep in mind. So let's read this example right here. Frank manages a small drugstore. During a 2-hour period, he counts 25 cash sales, people paying stuff with cash, and 15 credit card sales, people paying with credit card. What is the ratio of credit card to cash sales? So you're a master at ratios now, right? You know this is a ratio question because duh, they ask you what is the ratio of something to something, right? So you automatically know this is a ratio question. Then you got to remember, oh yeah, what was the something to something of the question? Well, the question, what is the ratio of credit card to cash sales? All right, let me just visually write this out. Credit card sales to cash sales. You know that's how the order should be. Credit card, the number for the credit card sales should go up top and the cash sales should go down below. So you do that. Then you go back to the word problem and you look for those numbers, right? Frank manages a small drugstore. During a 2-hour period, he counts 25 cash sales and 15 credit card sales. I found my numbers. 25 cash sales. This is where the students make the mistake. They, for some reason, see the 25 cash sale come first in the word problem. So they just immediately put it up here, and then they put the 15 for credit card sales down below, and then they're just like, oh yeah, I'm done. Move on next. You're wrong. Don't get tricked by the problem. All right. It is wrong to put 25 over 15 because look closely. The 25 represented cash sales. Cash, they were asking me credit card to cash sales. The 25 should go down below. That's why it helps to write it out so you could visually see how the answer should look like. And what was the credit card sales? Well, it says it right there, 15 credit card sales. 15 over 25 is the correct ratio, not 25 over 15, right? Okay, Neil, that's a handy little thing to be aware of. But what's the important thing about this example here is simplifying. My friends, you guys need to know how to simplify now. On the GED, most likely ratio questions will be on the part where you are allowed to use the calculator. Well, easy peasy. On the calculator, you just have to put 15 over 25 using the fraction button, which please go look at the calculator video to see how you could simplify fractions easily on the calculator, right? You just put this as a fraction, push enter, and then boom, it'll simplify the answer down to its simplest terms. But let's just for fun do this by hand for the heck of it. How do you simplify fractions by hand? You use division. You divide both numbers by a number, the same number, and hope that the answer on both of them comes out to whole numbers, aka numbers with no decimals. So a lot of people here, when they're beginning with simplifying fractions, they start off with 2, which is a go-to thing, right? But if you use 2 in this example, what's 15 divided by 2? It is 7.5, and I immediately messed up there. 2 is not the number I'm supposed to divide by, because like I said, they must come out to whole numbers, not decimals. So then you move up to 3. 15 divided by 3, oh, that's a whole number. That's 5. Let's hope, let's beg and plead that 25 comes out to a whole number. 25 divided by 3 ends up becoming 5. Brain fart moment. Oh my god. 15 divided by 3 is 8.33333. So we know that can't be it. So we move on to 4. I already know there's the decimal involved. 25 divided by 5. I know that's a 5. 15 divided by 5. That's a 3. Oh, both of them were divisible by 5. So 15 divided by 25, its simplest term is 3 over 5. Yes, my friends. Your ratio must be in simplified terms. The most simplified, which is why if you came up with this example, this answer, right? And then you went to go look at your multiple choice options on your GED. There's a reason why you won't see $15 or $25 on any of the answers. And that's because the GED likes to not only write numbers in rounded terms, but in simplest terms, which is why you must always be prepared to simplify your ratios. The example here, the answer here would be C, 3 to 5. Again, I'm just writing it out in with the column, but obviously the GED might give it to you in fraction form, right? 5 over 3, 2 over 5, 3 over 5, 5 over 2. Ratios, again, you already know the 3 ways it could be presented to you. So yeah, that's your second trick of the day. Make sure your ratios are always simplified. Now comes a real fun one. Please open up the mirrors and try to follow along. A football team won 12 games and lost 8. There were no tied games. What is the ratio of games won to games played? All right, what is my something to something? Well, it says it right there in the question. What is the ratio of games won to games played? I always tell students, write it out. Games won to games played. I'm just using letters as an abbreviation. So what do you do, my friends? You guys already know. Go back to the word problem. Look for the number that represents games won and the number that represents games played. So a football team won 12 games. There's my games won. They said it right there. A football team won 12 games. My games won is 12. and lost 8. There were no tied games. What is the ratio of games played? This is where students get the mistake. They just assume 8 is the other number and they put it under and then they move on, and you are wrong, because read the question. They want to know what is the ratio of games won to games played, not games lost. If they were asking what is the ratio of games won to games lost, then yes, this would be the answer. But that 8 represents lost games. That's not what the question is asking for. The question is asking for games played. So then you're just like, there is no number. They don't give us no number for games played, Neil. What's the answer? Well, yes, my friends, a little critical thinking. You have to do a little bit of thinking, my friends. You have to understand this. If in a season, a football season, if you won 12 games and you lost 8, you're telling me you can't solve the total amount of games played? Come on, y'all. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All you got to do is add 12 plus 8, and that'll give you the total amount of games played. The total amount of games played overall was 20. The 12 games that they won, the 8 games that they lost, add them up, 8 plus 12, 20. This, my friends, is the correct ratio. Games won 12 over games played 20. What did I just go over in the previous example? Make sure your ratio is always simplified. All right, so you put in the calculator, you let the calculator simplify it for you, or you solve this by hand by dividing them both by the same number, which in this case both of them are divisible by 4. And no matter what, whether you come up with it on the calculator or on your own, the final ratio is 3-5. That, my friends, is going to be a tough one, I already know. So always keep your eyes peeled on the question part. What are they asking you to find in terms of the ratio? Or what is that something to something? What are those things that they want you to find out? And always write them out, because that's going to be handy. Hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. No, we don't do that here. Make sure you just reach out to me if you need any help.